I was always the type of person who defined himself by what he did. In fact, I found that at a very young age, that's exactly what I did. I was a lacrosse player and I was the captain of the lacrosse team and I was in student government and I became a pilot. Started flying at 12 years old, became a solo pilot at 16 and my whole life I wanted to be an Army Black Hawk pilot. I thought that was it, man. That was going to make me happy. That was going to be enough. And one day I became it. And I was like, man, nothing really changed. In fact, this is much harder than I thought it was going to be. But, I kept going and I became an Army commander and got to do some great things and work with some great people. But I started to learn that I was allowing myself to be defined by my performance. And it's the same for many of us, right? We say, well, this is what I do, and this is how well I do it, and this is how valuable I am based on that performance. Now, if you're in a performance-based culture where you have to be at a certain level in order to stay on the team, like the military or like an athlete or, like someone in a very competitive tech company, for instance, right? Those type of industries or those type of arenas, they require us to perform. And what happens is when we underperform, we go, well, man, I'm not valuable. I don't get to stay on the team. Just because you don't get to stay on the team doesn't mean you're not valuable. And this is what I learned the hard way, and I'm going to share it with you real quick. I had the order wrong. I thought what I did was who I am. And I thought how well I did it determined how valuable I was. But the truth is, no. There is there are unique traits to who I am, to who I've always been. They showed up even in childhood. And it's the same for you. There are parts of you that just come out and bring results to the world around it. And when we get an idea of who we are, we'll know exactly what we're supposed to do because we'll be like, wow, I can get paid for doing this kind of stuff, just being me. And I think once you know who you are, and you'll know what you're supposed to do, you'll realize that sometimes you're going to do it really well, other times you're not. And it doesn't determine your value, it just determines how well something was done in that moment. See, I know who I am. I know the results I bring to the table. I know I am uniquely valuable just because, and really just because he said so, all right? Just because God said so. And in that, there's this freedom, this confidence that can rise up. And I really hope that for you. So we have to remember this. You are much more than your performance, much more than a measurement. You are intrinsically valuable, and who you are will help determine what you do.